What is going on to you, crew? Welcome back to another episode of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We are up to episode 27. We are super excited to get into it today. How are my lovely co-hosts, Jake Maltese and Luke Rosenthal, doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Got myself a sandwich here. Been starving all day. Been doing homework, but I'm all fueled up, ready to get into this.
Yeah, just got out of a nap, cleaned my room. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but when am I not? Just ready to get into it. Let's go.
Awesome. Sounds good. And you guys know that if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, we would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us. It helps us out a ton. And if you want to watch, or if you are watching on YouTube, if you want to drop a like, subscribe, ring the bell, means the world to us. We appreciate you guys more than you know. And as we start every episode, guess that player. I've got a tough one today. I don't know that you guys are going to get this one. And I'm throwing a wrench at you. Instead of the typical I list off stuff and you guys give me players, you guys are going to ask me questions. You guys are, if you've ever played like Guess Who, like does such and such have a mustache, that kind of stuff, that's what I'm looking for. All right. Like skill position, college.
I like this.
Is this legal? What? Who made it? I didn't know we could change it. I didn't know we could.
I don't know. I make the outline, so I made the rules, I guess.
That's that's fair though. That's fair though. All right.
There is no contract.
And as long as we don't just don't go too crazy in depth either, because I only know so much about the person.
All right.
Jake, you could ask the first one.
All right. Is it an NFL player?
It is an NFL player.
Okay. All right.
Is it Mitch Trubisky?
No, it is not Mitch Trubisky.
Damn it.
He's just starting right out with a guess.
Super specific.
Do they play? Does it have to be like yes or no questions, or can it be like just general questions?
It can be like just like you could ask me college or the AFC, NFC, that kind of stuff.
All right. Do they play in the AFC or NFC?
They play in the AFC.
AFC. Okay.
I don't know if this count. I don't want this to count, but it's a current. It's like they're actually playing, right?
Yeah. It's a current player.
Okay.
You
just said AFC, correct?
Mm-hmm.
AFC West.
No.
I'm trying to think of who had a big week. I feel like you would pick off of that.
Oh.
All right. So not AFC West.
Nope.
Were they a playoff team last year?
That's a good one. That's a good question.
No, they were not.
Oh.
Damn. Do they have a winning record right now?
They do.
Oh. Okay. All right. I think. Okay. Do they play on the Raiders? Oh, no, you said no AFC West. Oh, damn it. Wait, shit.
I literally just thought it was the Chargers.
That was a wasted question. Like, yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, shit.
You want another one, Jake? Or?
Yeah. Wait, that was a wasted question.
Go ahead.
They have a winning record. They were not a playoff team last year. They have a winning record now. Okay. Do they play for the Cincinnati Bengals?
They do play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
There we go.
Is it Samaje Perine?
It is not.
Is it Jamar Chase?
It is not.
Is it that guy that caught the touchdown? The other running back?
No.
Okay, never mind.
It's not a running back. I'll say that.
Is it a skill position?
It is a skill position.
Ah, man. Is it Joe Burrow?
It's not Joe Burrow.
Skill position.
Tyler Boyd.
Nope.
I don't think it's wide receiver.
It's not a wide receiver.
I think it's
not
backup quarterback. I think it's backup quarterback.
Do you think it's backup? Is tight end the skill position? Tight end is the skill position. CJ
Uzomah. Yes, it is CJ.
Yes.
Uzomah.
Yes.
Damn.
It's all tied now.
That wasn't terrible. You said we weren't gonna get that one.
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like because we did it that way instead of me just throwing hints at you guys, it might have been a little bit harder.
That was tough. I'm actually glad you did it that way because if you would have given me the college for CJ Uzomah, I would have no clue.
He went to Auburn.
I would not have known that. I might have known Drew.
So I looked it up.
I might have known Drew Sample, who's their backup tight end, but I wouldn't have known CJ Uzomah.
Yeah. Neither would I. But
yeah, I figured I'd mix it up, give you a little.
I like that.
A little something different.
I like that.
I like that.
And it was an NFL play. Go ahead.
Who are those people on TikTok that do those like guess that player? But
the baseball guys. They make like the bat mugs.
Is it them?
You know what I'm talking about? They like ask people, player colleges, like they ask their player, like
I know who you're
who
talking
went to
about. I
this
don't think it's them though, because
Okay.
they always like have
Oh, the
like 30
timer?
seconds. Yeah, the 30
Okay.
seconds to
I know what you're
guess,
talking
and
about.
then yeah,
I know what you're talking about. That's a cool
Mhm.
concept.
I see a
Yeah.
lot of them on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
but I don't think I've ever seen them on TikTok.
Yeah.
we'll
They
find
go-
out who they are.
Yeah. I don't know who they
Alright.
are right now.
Shout
with
out them,
that-
whoever they are.
Yeah.
For sure. And with that, we are going to hop right into our week 6 preview, or not our week 6 preview, our week 6 review. Rather, we've got a few games to talk about. And I figured we would hop right into the Monday Night Football game, as it was a thriller, came right down to the wire. These primetime games have been insane this year. The Titans barely pull it out over the Bills, 34-31. How are we feeling about the game? What implications does this have? Luke, you want to start us off?
What implications does it have? I mean, it's huge because you're getting a win, or the Tennessee Titans are getting a win over quite possibly the best team in the AFC this year. So that's going to be huge come playoff time. I mean, they're already above them now in the seedings. The Titans are. This was their biggest win of the season. It might be the biggest win of the season moving forward. Like I don't see another team on their schedule who is like as good as the Bills are right now. I mean, number one offense, number one defense, they had it all. Derrick Henry, man. Derrick motherfucking Henry. I think we have to start mentioning with like some of the greatest running backs of all time, like the Jim Browns, like the Barry Sanders, because he is on that level. He is on that level 2 straight years of leading the league in rushing yards and touchdowns. Like and he's going to do it again. What does he have? He has like 9 or 10 right now, I believe. He has 3 touchdowns. He has 10 touchdowns and he has three touchdown games. And it's week 6, week 7 now. This is going to be out, but like that's just unheard of. And it's like he's carrying that offense. Like, let's be real. I know I don't get me wrong. I love Ryan Tannehill. I'm still holding out hope that he's going to turn things around the second half, or else my bet doesn't look too great.
Yeah.
Now, but they're not using Julio right, and it's on top of that he's getting hurt. He did have that ridiculous catch that just ricocheted off Micah Hyde's helmet. Even though it was called pass interference or there's a flag thrown on that play, he still caught it, which it was a little bit reminiscent of his Super Bowl, like toe drag swag catch. Like that's classic Julio. But just like his football IQ to just know that he has to go get the ball there to locate it after it ricocheted is ridiculous. It's a little bit, it's upsetting that AJ Brown is hurt, because I think he and Julio, if they were healthy, they'd be the best duo in the league. But man, this Titans offense, this Titans team is really starting to come into shape. And they just beat the best team in the league.
Yeah, it's definitely the defense that's going to get them. But I didn't think the loss of Arthur Smith would have such an impact on this offense, because we're seeing it with Ryan. If you're not seeing it anywhere else, we're seeing it with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, Ryan Tannehill does not usually make these mistakes. He is not a guy that throws interceptions. He's a guy that's a very accurate passer. Listen, is he a Patrick Mahomes? Is he an Aaron Rodgers? No, but he is definitely an above average quarterback, and he's a good quarterback who usually does not make mistakes. And we're seeing these mistakes made this year. And I think that has to do a lot to do with the new offensive scheme after Arthur Smith left. But you can always count on Derrick Henry to be a fucking mauler and just crush everybody. It's unfortunate that they lost Taylor Lewan in this game. Don't know his injury status. I think that's going to be a big loss though if they don't have him. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. AJ Brown showed out a little bit this game, even though he's on a pitch count or whatever he said in his press conference that they're limiting him. He doesn't necessarily want to be limited. I agree with Luke. This was a huge win, huge win for the Titans. If I'm a Titans fan right now, I am so excited. I did not go in. If I'm a Titans fan, I didn't go into that game thinking we were going to win it. But ultimately, if Sean McDermott would have made a different decision, we might have a different outcome. But you know what? A lot of people have been critical for him over, deciding to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of kick the field goal, go to overtime. I mean, you gotta put this into perspective. They had the most unstoppable offense in the league, debatably. Like the Bills up to this point, they had pretty much the best defense in the league up to this point. Okay. This team is rolling. He has as much confidence in his offense as any coach in the NFL, if not the most confidence. So 4th-and-1 situation to, get to first and goal, to have us, and you get to first and goal. I'm saying it right now, the Bills are probably going to punch it in. Okay. That Titans offense is not really stopping anybody on the goal line. I know they made a goal line stop, I think at first in the game, but other than that, they're really not doing much. Okay. They're not the impenetrable wall. So I understand why Sean McDermott made that decision. If I were in his shoes, I'm probably making that decision too. I'm not judgy towards it. Yes, you can always make the safe decision, but the safe decision doesn't lead to championships. So that's why he made that decision. Just an overall great win for the Titans. I think this is the team we expected to see coming into the year. We didn't expect to see all these road bumps. And hopefully they can continue this for the rest of the year. There's a big difference between 3-3 and 4-2. So this was definitely huge for the Titans.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, especially with Sean McDermott's call to go forward on 4th down. Lowe's Leads brought up a great point. If you don't follow him on TikTok, shout out to him. He makes some great content, especially for fantasy. But he said that the Titans scored on the last 6 drives. Last 6 times they had the ball before that, they had scored. So I don't see how you can really trust your defense in that situation. You go out there and all of a sudden get a stop after they just let up 6 scores in a row. You know what I mean? So you trust your offense that's high powered. You trust Josh Allen to get that 1 yard that you need. And it unfortunately just didn't go their way this time around. As far as what this means for the Titans, huge win, especially with their guys banged up the way that they have been. As far as Ryan Tannehill and to defend him and to defend Luke's MVP pick a little bit, I believe going into this game, he was the most sacked quarterback in the league. His offensive line just hasn't been great, especially with Taylor Lewan being banged up. Prayers out for him. Hope that he gets better soon. But yeah, his receivers are banged up. His O-line's banged up. You can't really expect too much out of him, but hopefully once they start to get those pieces back, it'll help him out a lot. Moving on from that, we're going to hop right into a game that we expected to be a hell of a lot closer than it was. Chargers at Ravens. The Ravens pummeled those guys. Jake, you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah, pretty sure I picked the Chargers in this game. That was stupid of me to do. I'm done betting against Lamar. This is the final week I do it. I'm just going to pick, spoiler for the picks. I'm picking the Ravens for the rest of the season.
Good choice.
Yeah. Unless they match up with the Bills. I don't know if they do. We'll figure that out.
Well, they both won the division, right?
Yes.
Wait, no. The Steelers won the division last year.
Steelers won the division. Yeah.
I'll check to see.
Yeah. But anyway, Ravens played out of their minds. Lamar, the thing about Lamar is he didn't have the best game. He didn't have the best game. The Ravens defense was really good in this game, though. Ravens defense was really, really good in this game. The Ravens defense coordinator obviously had a great game plan coming into this to stop Justin Herbert. I just want to pull up the stats here as I'm going to keep talking until I do that. Where is it? Okay, I'm skipping past it. There it is. All right. Yeah. Justin Herbert, 195 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 18.6 quarterback rating. So that just tells you this man was top 3 in MVP considerations up to this point. And that's what the Ravens defense did to him. Ravens defense have been a little suspect this year. They've definitely been beatable. Their pass rush have been really good. But their secondary especially had looked a little suspect. Yeah. But they definitely stepped up in this game. Completely shut down the run game. In this game. Austin Eckler had been rolling up to this point, been one of the best running backs in the NFL, and just completely took that to a dead stop. So this was probably the best game of the year, if I had to say, for the Ravens. They just played great in all facets of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. Again, Lamar, stats don't look great, but he made some timely throws. He made some good throws. They even got the run game going a little bit. Lamar had over 50 yards rushing. Devontae Freeman had over 50 yards rushing. Mark Andrews is a fucking weapon. But yeah, the Ravens look phenomenal, and they are, forget about the week 1 loss to Oakland, Las Vegas. This is 100% a Super Bowl contender. I have no doubt the Chargers are also Super Bowl contenders, but this doesn't look great if it does come down to who gets home field advantage in the playoffs if this matchup happens again.
Yeah, I think John Harbaugh is the best coach in the league. I think he's the best head coach in the league. You look at all of the injuries that Baltimore is dealing with. They have the most players on injured reserve. And guess what? They just added another player in Ronnie Stanley, who's going to be out for the entire season. And they're 5-1, and they haven't missed a beat. And I know they lost in that they had sort of a fluky game against the Raiders in which they lost in overtime. But this team could very well be undefeated. And I think we would be talking about this team a lot differently had they not lost to the Raiders week 1. Lamar Jackson, I'm almost ready to call him the MVP. I know he didn't have a bad game by any means, but like he didn't have a Lamar Jackson crazy type game. I mean, they ended up blowing him out. It's mainly the run game and their stifling defense that won them this one. But I mean, Lamar Jackson, he affects his team. How do I even say this? He affects his team's like win percentage, or he helps his team win more than any other player in the league, if that makes sense. Like
talking about his wins above replacement.
Yeah. Like there's no other player that affects the outcome of the game more than Lamar Jackson. And I used to say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. Like if you take Lamar Jackson off the Ravens, this Ravens team is not the same. If you put any other quarterback on the Ravens, this Ravens team is not the same. It runs through him. Literally everything runs through him. As for the Chargers, it was disappointing. It was disappointing to say the least. I had the Ravens in this game. I thought that the Chargers were going to come in and they were a little bit too young for this spotlight in this big moment on the road even. And they just came in and really just stunk it up. I mean, Justin Herbert had a touchdown interception, but I think he had his worst game of the season, 22 of 39, under 200 yards, touchdown pick. And they only had 14, 12, they had 26 yards rushing. So credit to this Baltimore defense. Their defense is just as good as their offense is. It's showing this team is going to be so scary, especially when it starts to get colder. Now that we're getting into the winter season and all they're going to be doing is running it down your throats. They're going to be so hard to stop offensively, defensively. They haven't missed a beat with all of these injuries. They just seem to get better by the week. And it's a credit to John Harbaugh because he prepares this team unlike any other head coach in the league. And I think they might be the best team in the AFC now that we just saw that the Bills lose. I mean, they might be the front runners to get that number 1 seed, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them get it.
Yeah. I mean, I picked the Chargers to win this game as well. And hindsight's 2020. But I should have known better. I should have taken my own advice. I was like, the Chargers' run defense is horrible right now, worst in the NFL. But I think they can still pull it out, and not even close. I mean, their run defense looked abysmal. Fuck, man.
Yeah. You lied again.
Any better now, or is it still?
You're good now. You're fine now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's every once in a while you get like a lag spike.
Yeah.
But I should have taken my own advice and should have known better than to pick the Chargers. I said that they have the worst run defense in the league right now, and that showed here. I mean, they continue to have the worst run defense in the league because the Baltimore Ravens ran all over them. Lamar Jackson didn't have to pass because the running backs were getting it done. We saw Latavius Murray finally have a good game. We saw Le'Veon Bell step up. We saw even Devontae Freeman step up. So the Chargers' run defense is going to lose them a lot of games going forward if they face teams that have a good run, just a good run scheme in general, because Justin Herbert is not going to be able to keep up if he gets in all these scoring races over and over again, like we saw last season. I mean, that's what kept happening to them. They were getting these scoring races, and they couldn't keep up. They were losing them late, and I'm worried that might start happening again here, despite their great start. All right, in the last game of week 6 that we are going to get into, we had the Cardinals at the Browns. All 3 of us took the Browns in this one, thinking that they were going to be able to pull something off, especially with the Cardinals having their COVID issues. That was not at all the case. Luke, do you want to start us out?
Wow. Whoa, that was dumb by us. Like, geez. Yeah. So the Cardinals are undisputed the best team in the league, and I know we say a different team every single week, but that's kind of how it goes in the NFL. And at least until you get towards like week 14, 15, where like playoff teams start to show themselves. This Cardinals team, man, to go into Cleveland And like, it wasn't competitive. It was not competitive at all. I know the score was 37-14, but it was really 37-7. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to count that Hail Mary, but like, no, I will count it because I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. He had 2 touchdowns in this game. I'd like to see them throw to Odell a little bit more, but he got hurt, which is, OBJ like. But no, this Cardinals team is ridiculous. And Kyler Murray, he had his best game as a passer, not even as a runner. I mean, he had 7 carries for 6 yards. It's not even like he was getting it done on the ground. It wasn't like an ordinary game for him. Just the receivers were getting open. Everything was working for this team. And like, where was the Browns defense at? I mean, this incredibly improved defense didn't have anything to show for. I know that they're dealing with a bunch of injuries. First and foremost, Baker Mayfield. I'll get to him in a second, but JOK, they're going to be losing for about a month now. Like I just said, Baker Mayfield's still dealing with his shoulder injury. Kareem Hunt's going to miss a month. So they're just dealing with it all right now. It sucks because they have a high ceiling, I think we all thought. And the injury bug is starting to get to them a little bit. But man, it's all about the Cardinals. Like, they don't have a weakness on this team. They really don't. Their front 7 is outstanding. Chandler Jones and JJ Watt off the edge. Isaiah Simmons is, having more of a breakout season, and he's having more of an involved role on this team. AJ Green is just come out of nowhere and is revived his career. Like, this team is working and the running game is working. Chase Edmonds and James Conner are a really good duo. The thunder and lightning that you need. Their offensive line, which I think we all didn't think was that great coming in, like, they played pretty well, and they've been playing pretty well all season. I can't say enough about this Cardinals team. Kyler Murray's outstanding. This defense is outstanding. Buda Baker and Byron Murphy, and they have so many guys. Jordan Hicks had a good game. Like, this team's great. And the Browns, they're in an injury bug right now, or they have an injury bug. And it's not the greatest thing to have when you have a struggling quarterback who isn't on the same page as some of his receivers. Odell Beckham Jr., like I just said, he needs to get the hell out of there, please. And don't ship him to Green Bay. I don't want him anymore. Stephen A, every time Stephen A's send him to the Packers. Packers go to the Super Bowl. Every week I hear that. No, that's not going to make him a Super Bowl contender. But it's disappointing for this Browns team. Now they're going into a Thursday night game without Nick Chubb too. So I don't know who's going to be playing running back for them. Dearness Johnson, it looks like. Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah. This, just the fall of the Browns. And then we talked about a little bit about this last week. I know Baker Mayfield got injured in this game. He fought back in the game. He came back in, but before that injury, man, I don't know what's up with him this year. I don't know what's up with him this year. I Gage, you mentioned this last week, that he's really been the reason for a lot of their struggles. And it's just so odd to me that he's in the same offense. But he played great last year. Like, he really played great last year. He was the reason they won in Pittsburgh. He was the reason they were coming, like, they had a chance in that Chiefs game in the playoffs. But he played great. And that Baker Mayfield has just not been on the field this year. I don't know what the problem is. It seems like, he hasn't gained a lot of weapons. He hasn't lost a lot of weapons. He's not throwing to new receivers. It's just so odd to me why he's having this off year. And he's really a player that can't afford to have an off year. Like, if Aaron Rodgers has an off year, I mean, they're fine. Like, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. If Russell Wilson had an off year, Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. He's fine. Baker Mayfield is just, when he's playing well, all the, nobody has anything to say. Like, all the haters will still try to say something, but they can't really back it up. When he just shows an inch of playing bad, that's when this man shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, he's a bust. Like, he's the worst quarter. Like, this is not the guy to, all those haters start jumping in. Like, this guy can't lead him to a Super Bowl. I can't really defend him this year. He's not playing well. It sucks that all these injuries have happened. That is absolutely not helping them. But you know what? On a more positive note, let's get to the Cardinals. Not positive for me as a Seahawks fan, obviously, but man, if I haven't apologized to Cliff Kingsbury enough already, I'm just going to do it again. He's proven that you could jump, that a lot of people were questioning his air raid offense that he took from Texas Tech to the NFL. And, whether it was going to be a Chip Kelly situation where he didn't want to, change it at all once he got in the NFL. Chip Kelly just stuck to his spread offense. He wasn't going to add any NFL concepts to it. It's his offense. That's what he's going to run. Cliff Kingsbury, he came in the NFL. He watched the Sean McVays. He watched the Kyle Shanahans. He saw what all these guys were doing. He added some NFL concepts. Kyler Murray's getting under center. That's something you never saw any of his quarterbacks do in college. And he's putting all of these players in positions to succeed. Kyler Murray is an MVP candidate. He's got 2 running backs, 2 average-ish running backs in the NFL playing really well. We all had our questions about James Conner. Chase Edmonds been a little banged up. He had a 40-yard run in this game. James Conner has come in, played really well for him. The offensive line looks like a new unit when they really haven't done anything to add much to it. All these receivers are eating that, DeAndre Hopkins is eating. AJ Green is getting his. He looks like he's a, top 10 receiver again. I'm not going to go that far, but you know what I mean. Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk's getting touchdowns. Like literally they're feeding everybody on this offense. The defense looks great. JJ Watt got his first sack as a Cardinal in this game. Marcus Golden got 2 sacks in this game. He's up to 4 sacks. Jordan Hicks is getting sacks. Everybody's getting sacks. Then you got the sack king and Chandler Jones on that team. Again, Budda Baker, one of the best safeties. You got Byron Murphy. Like Luke said, I mean, there's not a weak spot on this team. And then the coaching staff, I thought would be their biggest weakness because we could all see the talent. We all saw the talent, on paper that this team had. It was all the questions were regarding the coaching staff. Can Cliff Kingsbury, lead a successful team in the NFL? He's doing it right now. He's shutting up the haters. It's kind of a bad omen, I've realized, to call the team the best team in the NFL because I think the last 2 times we've done it, that team has ended up losing that week. We just did it with the Bills and they ended up losing.
You're a Seahawks fan. Do it.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Cardinals are definitely the best team in the league right now. Football gods, if you're hearing me, do your work. Cardinal, but on a serious note, they really are. They're playing phenomenally. And the Rams got some competition in that division. A lot of people thought, the Rams run away with this division. That is not at all the case. Rams are playing well, but Cardinals are playing just as good.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really say much about the Cardinals at this point. I don't feel like, because I've said so much already about them over the past 6 weeks, 5 weeks or so, whatever. Like since week 1, I've been ranting and raving about them, I feel like. So I don't want to go on too much, but yeah, everything that you guys said, fantastic. Kyler Murray's playing out of his mind. He still continues to lead the NFL in completion percentage. So even passing wise, like he's getting it done with his legs, but if he doesn't move around, he's still passing very well. As far as the Browns go, I don't even know what to say. I mean, injuries are a big deal, obviously, but it's like, what is going on? Because we thought this team was like, oh, they're definitely playoff bound. They're definitely, AFC championship bound. Like that level of talent on that team coming into the season, and it has not looked that way whatsoever. We're looking at a team that is under the Bengals right now in that division.
Bengals are playing. You're acting like the Bengals aren't playing well. Bengals are playing well.
I'm not just shitting on the Bengals, but I'm saying as far as expectations went, we had a lot higher expectations for the Browns than we did for the Bengals, and it seems like they've almost flip-flopped as far as their performances around those expectations. I think that the past couple of weeks or so, Baker Mayfield's shoulder is bothering him a lot more than maybe he's letting on or the team is letting on. So that's not helping anything, of course. But even before that, we saw there was some sort of disconnect. He's not really making the plays that he was making last season. And I don't know if it's because now Kevin Stefanski is in his second year as a head coach and people are like, okay, we kind of understand what this guy's trying to do or whatever the case may be. But the Browns are in trouble if they don't start to figure some things out. And with that being said, we're going to dive right into Thursday Night Football, boys. We have got the Broncos at the Browns. This Browns team is majorly banged up, like we just talked about. The Broncos are on a bit of a losing streak right now. They haven't looked the best. They just lost to the Raiders this past week. Jake, if you want to start us off, go ahead and give us your winner, score, and player of the game for this game.
Yeah, I'm just going to start off. I'm going to take the Broncos in this one. The game is in Cleveland, but just there's so many injuries on the Browns side. The Browns are even a little bit healthier. Like if they have one of their starting running backs back, I'm picking them all day. But just, Dearness Johnson is a good running, he's a good fill-in. I don't know how much damage she's going to do because, again, the Broncos do have a pretty solid defense. Teddy Bridgewater, I think we're getting to the end of it. I know I said this last week, but Teddy Bridgewater is doing nothing for me. I watched that game and I'm like, it's not, he is not winning games for you. And he's starting to kind of make some plays that are losing games for them. He's throwing more picks than we thought he would. He's not willing to go deep. When he does go deep, it's not a real pretty accurate ball. If I were Vic Fangio, which I know I'm not, I'm a random college kid.
You're not?
I know. Crazy.
Never seen you two in the same place.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I moonlight as a 60-year-old head coach in Denver. But yeah, if I'm Vic Fangio, I'm starting to look at Drew Lock. He can push the ball downfield. He's got a way more accurate deep ball. He's got some good connections, especially I know Noah Fant. I had him in fantasy. He scored a garbage time touchdown. So he kind of looked like he went off. They're not utilizing Noah Fant like he should be utilizing. This man is a freaking weapon. He's an athletic freak at the tight end position. He should be, people should know him. People should know his name. Like the casual NFL fan probably doesn't know about Noah Fant. That's an issue. That is an issue with how much talent this guy has. Drew Lock has an amazing connection with Noah Fant. That's why I'm starting to look at Drew Lock if I'm Vic Fangio. Teddy Bridgewater, I love him. I loved him in Minnesota, but it's starting to look like he's going to take a very Tyrod Taylor-esque route throughout his rest of his career and just kind of be a journeyman, a very solid quarterback option, kind of like Case Keenum, Tyrod Taylor, that kind of quarterback, which nothing to be ashamed of, there. But anyway, I know I'm rambling. I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. Browns are way too banged up. My player of the game, hopefully they can get it to him, is going to be Noah Fant. All right. You got to start utilizing maybe your best player on offense. Like, honestly, score. I feel like this is going to be a low scoring game. I'm going to go 20-17 Broncos. And my player of the game is going to be Noah Fant. Hopefully he can, for my fantasy stake too. I'd like to see him be utilized a little more.
I'm holding out on Baker Mayfield because I don't think he's playing as terrible as some people think. I mean, I'm looking at some of his stats here. He has 3 games with over 100 passer rating and 2 games with a 97 passer rating, and then just 1 stinker against Minnesota. He's not playing terrible, but he's just not giving this offense the spark they need to win these games against these competitive.
He's playing like Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. He's playing better than Teddy Bridgewater. He's playing better than Teddy Bridgewater right now.
All right. I just don't think he has the touchdowns to back it up. I feel like if he had more touchdowns, we'd be talking about him a lot different. Yeah. But because this team is predominantly led by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, it sort of takes away from Baker Mayfield's stats. But that being said, there's not going to be Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt in this game. I'm going to take the Browns. I think the Browns are the safe pick here. They are at home. They're going to have to get back on track at some point. And I think we came into the season thinking that the Browns were a Super Bowl contender. They're not looking like it right now, but there's still a lot of season left to go. I think in order for them to sort of live up to our expectations, they're going to have to win these types of games against a Broncos team that's just been slipping since their 3-game win streak over the Jets, the Giants, and the fucking Jaguars. Like, I don't know why the media was taking stock into that. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't even want to mention them anymore. I'm confident in this Browns team to win this game. Jarvis Landry still not going to be back. It doesn't look like, although he's close to returning. And I do think when Jarvis Landry comes back, I think a lot of these problems for Baker Mayfield are going to be resolved just because that's his security blanket. That's his go-to guy. It's not OBJ. It's Jarvis Landry in the slot. But now he's starting to build chemistry with a guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones, like a David Njoku, who's had some pretty good games the past couple of weeks, finally starting to get him involved, 4 years too late. Their offensive line is still relatively healthy. I think this Browns team wins, and I'm expecting a decent game out of Baker Mayfield. I'm going to go with the Browns. Give me them 28 to 20. And my player of the game is going to be Donovan Peoples-Jones, just because I don't have any faith in OBJ. I started him last week in fantasy. I said this is his last chance, and he got hurt. So be it. Last chance is your last chance. I'm not going to be trusting him anymore. He just can't get it done in Cleveland, unlike his first year where he went over 1,000 yards. So, yeah, give me Cleveland here. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Give me him for a touchdown.
Alrighty. This one is a little tough, and I feel like it's definitely going to be very situational as to why I'm making this pick. But I'm going to go with Jake on this one, and I'm going to take the Broncos. I think that obviously Teddy Bridgewater is not playing a fantastic game of football each week. He's not going out there, but I wasn't expecting him to at any point. He is the safe guy at quarterback, like we talked about weeks and weeks ago when they made that decision. And he's going to be a little safer with the ball in most cases than I think Drew Lock would be. He's going to still be starting in this game, but I like the Broncos defense going up against this Browns offense. As injured as they are. They're missing a lot of their they're missing all their running backs. Baker Mayfield, like I said, is playing with that injured shoulder that I think is hindering him a lot more than people are realizing, or a lot more than he's letting on. So and with OBJ hurt, even though he doesn't go to him very often, OBJ hurt, Jarvis Landry hurt, they're starting to get a little thinner at that wide receiver position as well. So I don't see Baker Mayfield playing too well. I don't see the Browns making their comeback this week. So I'm going to take the Broncos. As far as my score goes, I do think it's going to be relatively low scoring as well. I'm going to go 26-17 for mine. And for my player of the game, give me Tim Patrick. Cortland Sutton has been playing pretty well, but I do think he's going to be covered up by CB1. So I think that Tim Patrick is going to have an opportunity to eat, and Teddy Bridgewater seemingly game to game has been going to him a lot more. So I think he could have a bit of a breakout game.
I like those picks from you guys because I feel like you guys are opening the door for me to get back into the driver's seat of these picks.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, the Chargers last week, I don't know.
It sucks because I'm gonna be rooting for the Browns in this game. You know, I don't want to see the Browns fail. You know, I've seen them fail my entire childhood and just growing up and just watching the Browns be awful. So now that they're good, I root for them to win. So it's gonna suck. I'm gonna be rooting for them, but you don't
root for Drew Lock horse Croc. You don't root for him. Isn't it fitting that he plays for the Broncos too?
It is. So it is. Yeah.
Hey, if he's got a horse, then I mean, I don't feel like you really need to root for him. I feel like everything
he's got it going.
Just kind of speaks for
itself. He's got it going.
He's got it going for him. Yeah, exactly.
He does. Exactly.
It does kind of worry me about the Browns though in their current situation, because like it feels like they're very much in win now mode. You know what I mean? Like we were looking at this team to be a genuine contender, and right now with all the injuries and just the way they've been playing, I don't know. They've got some guys that they're going to have to pay, including Baker Mayfield. They've got some guys that are on short contracts. Like, I mean, after this season, if it doesn't go well, this could end poorly.
Bold take, bold prediction. I think they're going to franchise tag Baker Mayfield. I don't think they're going to be quite sold on signing him long term. I think he gets the franchise tag after the season.
I agree. I also think.
Or wait, is he in his?
They have the 5th year option.
They have the 5th year. Never mind.
They still have the 5th year option.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but after that, I wouldn't be surprised if they franchise tagged him after that ran out.
Is it cheaper to franchise tag him than to?
It depends what the average. It's he was the first overall pick, so he's getting the most money. Of anybody in that draft class. So you would have to look at the numbers. You have to look at the numbers.
It would be close. It'd be close.
Yeah.
All right, and now the NBA season has started, gentlemen. We are getting into some basketball. Finally, we've got the Nets versus Bucks game that's going on right now. Would you guys like to update me on the score on that?
Jake, you got that because my stream is not loading.
Yeah, I now have live television. Breaking news, people. It's 97-87 Milwaukee. 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Okay, so they're looking good. And then we've got Warriors, Lakers. Has this started yet? I don't believe
it. No, that's at 10:30.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's a late game.
Yeah, it's a late game. So that'll be starting a little bit later. But we have got some more news about who, a Mr. Ben Simmons. It feels like we've been talking about him forever. We talked about him the entirety of the NBA playoffs last season and all throughout the offseason, of course. There's some animosity still, boys. today he got kicked out of practice basically because he just didn't want to practice. He didn't want to participate. He didn't want to try. They were asking him to sub in for someone into something that they were running, and he refused several times. Doc Rivers kicks him out of practice. They suspend him for a game. Joel Embiid in a press conference says, I don't care about that guy anymore. I mean, where do we go from here, boys? We've talked about it a lot, but Jake, if you want to start us off, what do you think happens?
Yeah, I made a video about this today. If I'm the Sixers GM, I'm suspending him indefinitely. He is such a cancer to that team. And to come into practice after everything you've done over the offseason to separate yourself from this team and not expect to work hard in practice, just expect to, coast through practice, make your own decisions in practice, and expect, Doc Rivers and the team to just be okay with that after everything you said about them in the offseason. I don't understand what's going through Ben Simmons' head. It's like he's trying to sabotage this team. Like, what was this meeting? What was this magical meeting that he had with the executives either last week or a couple weeks ago that patched things up, so to speak? It doesn't look all that effective to me if this is what's happening in his first practice back. If I'm the GM, I'm just done with Ben Simmons at this point. I don't care if you're looking for this huge haul for him in a trade, and you probably deserve it. Understandably, you'd be looking for a huge haul because although he doesn't have a jump shot, he's still a ridiculously awesome defensive player. He provides a lot of positives to your team. Okay. He's a really good playmaker, a really good defender. But if I'm the Sixers, I'm just like, you know what? Just give me whatever. Maybe not second round pick or something like that, but just give me a little bit. It could be a little less than I'm asking for. You don't got to give me 3 first round picks. Just give me a first round pick and a decent player, and let's get on with this. Don't just get him the hell out of Philly. He's causing more harm than good there. I'm sure the team is just like we saw with Joel Embiid. Team's done with him. He is the diva of the century. I'm so done talking about this man. He is probably the most hated man in Philadelphia, and he
100%.
plays for a Philadelphia team. That is what that's saying. If he gets out of that arena alive after his first game, I would be shocked. Shocked. I'm just done with Ben Simmons. Sixers got to get rid of him.
Is Ben Simmons more hated right now than Nick Sirianni in Philly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't even think it's close.
Maybe that was a dumb question, but
yeah.
Ben Simmons is sort of doing the James Harden thing where James Harden, they're taking different approaches. James Harden got fat and he just was looking like a slob and he got traded, and Ben Simmons is just playing like he doesn't want to, you're just practicing like he doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to be there. Yeah. I feel like it's a little bit of the 76ers fault though, because they've had opportunity after opportunity to trade him. And I know that they're asking for crazy value that teams are just never going to give them, but don't tell me that teams aren't offering you some decent stuff. And you know what? They're probably pulling it off the table now because you have to trade him because he is, like you said, a cancer to this team, to this organization, which is really upsetting. Maybe not to me because I'm a Raptors fan. Fuck the Sixers, but this team has finals aspirations. Yeah. Joel Embiid, had he not gotten hurt last year, I think would have won the MVP. He was playing ridiculous offensively and defensively. They have great players coming off the bench too. Tobias Harris is a little bit of a problem. He disappears from time to time, and he's playing on a super max, so it's kind of weird there. I think they should get rid of him too. They might have to just clean shop, man. They just might have to clean shop. There's too many egos on this team for it to be successful. You can't have Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers. You can't have all of these, inner colliding egos going at each other and try to win an NBA championship because it's not going to happen. They need to get rid of Ben Simmons. I think it's clear and obvious. They need to do it soon. Otherwise, he's just not going to play. It's very clear, very, very clear he's not going to play now for this team. You're not going to suspend him, and he's not. Joel Embiid doesn't like him anymore. Danny Green, too, in press conferences said that, he just needs to come in and do his job. These teammates are losing respect for him. I don't know what the Sixers' next move is. It better be to get him out of there. I don't know why they haven't traded him yet. I don't know why. I feel like it's their fault. I really do. Maybe teams aren't, too keen on Ben Simmons, but I don't see why you would be or why you wouldn't be. He still offers so much to teams, facilitating the ball, defense, he's a perennial all defensive team. Like, I don't know. This Sixers team is in some trouble. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I like what you said there at the end a lot, because I was going to say, I think that honestly, if they don't figure this situation out, or if they don't make a decent trade here, that this is the beginning of the end of the process.
Yep.
I genuinely think that you're right. They're probably going to have to clean house here if they can't get this situation figured out, because the locker room currently is probably in shambles. I mean, I know that the rest of the team is probably getting along all right, but with Ben Simmons in there, he is exactly what Jake said, a cancer to this team currently.
Yeah.
And do you guys think that, because Spawn Hour made a video earlier, do you think that this situation hurts or helps Ben Simmons as far as getting a trade? Because Ben Simmons obviously wants to be traded. So if he puts on a show like this, then the Sixers might be more inclined to make a trade for something lesser, like just a smaller package or whatever. Or do you think this hurts him because teams aren't going to want him as much because he's acting the way he's acting?
I think this whole thing, or this whole whatever he's doing, this whole shtick that he's putting on, was obviously to get himself traded. He's, like I said earlier, he's pulling a James Harden from a couple years ago to get traded from the Rockets. I feel like I said, it's on the Sixers to trade him. It's the Sixers' fault why he's still there. I think ultimately it does help him, because, obviously none of the teammates want him on the team anymore. And when your best players are not happy, your team is just not going to win. And especially in, like, I don't want to say a toxic environment, but a toxic environment of Philadelphia. Like, let's be real. I think it helps his trade value, or not his trade value, him getting traded, but it's not necessarily the best approach, I'd say.
I think it hurts him. I think it hurts him. Listen, if I'm a GM for any other team, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what if he doesn't, what if our fans, aren't happy with him? What if he's not hitting shots here and he costs us playoff series? Is he just going to wimp out and it start acting like this and then ask to get traded again? Like, no, I want him to, at least act like he wants to be there. This goes back to the playoffs last year. It goes back to, listen, Philly fans, they're notoriously like impatient. Like they're not going to be the nicest to you if you're not, hitting your shots and doing what you have to do. But if you're giving your effort and you're losing, that's different. They're going to be fine with it because they see you're working hard. That's how any fans are. Yes, they might not be as mean as Philly fans, but they're not exactly going to be like, oh, it's okay, we don't care. Yeah, you just do what you want. No, like fans, you're going to have to deal with this wherever you go. And if you start acting like this, putting on this act when things don't go your way or your feelings are hurt, I don't want that player on my team. I don't want a player on my team that could divide the locker room like this. I had a similar reaction when Kyrie was, doing his thing in Boston with the locker room and things weren't great up there. This is 10 times worse than that.
Yeah.
Because at least Kyrie was, showing up for games, acting like, at least act in practice, acting like he wanted to be there. Exactly. Which says a lot for Kyrie Irving. Let's be honest. This is absolutely, I can't believe I'm younger than him. And I'm saying this is the most immature thing I've ever seen out of a basketball player ever. It's so ridiculous. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You can't put on a face and just go through the motions at practice. You can't do that. You can't just be like, your head coach tells you, hey, can you just sub in on this? You can't just be like, all right, fine. Like, you're playing basketball for a living. Get over yourself. Okay. You are not even the best player on your team. You're not LeBron James, Ben Simmons. You are Ben Simmons. Okay. Joel Embiid is way better than you. So you're not even you're not even the superstar of this team that has earned the respect to do this. Okay. It's just so ridiculous. It's so stupid. And if I am a GM, I am trading peanuts for Ben Simmons at this point. Because number one, it goes back to, the 76ers missed their opportunity to trade him for probably the highest value they can get for him.
Yeah.
They were greedy. All right. They were greedy and they didn't capitalize on their opportunity. Now, whether a superstar / star player is disgruntled in his situation, wants to get out, AKA Damian Lillard in Portland or CJ McCollum at that, for that matter, maybe you can get that done. I don't think it's going to be anything other than a 1-for-1 swap. Like, I don't think you're getting picks out of that. Again, I think this hurts him. If I'm a GM, I am staying the hell away from Ben Simmons unless it's like a ridiculous deal not to take. Like if it's like, give me your role player and like a first round pick for Ben Simmons. Like that's a deal I would make.
Yeah. I think that Ben Simmons definitely has a lot to offer, but he's nowhere close to good enough to be acting the way that he's acting and demanding the things that he's trying to demand. And you put it great that it's just straight up childish. Like I hate to see it. It makes you hate him as a player. Like I don't feel like at this point that just Philly fans are upset with him. It's NBA fans as a whole. They're like, what is this guy doing? Just go out there and play. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I think that they need to get rid of him for sure because he's causing just a toxic environment for them. But like you said, Jake, as a GM, I don't know what I even give for him, if not very little.
Yeah. Like I'll put it this way. Gage, would you want Ben Simmons on the Hornets?
No. No.
Yeah. I wouldn't want Ben Simmons on the Knicks. And I'm sure, Luke, you wouldn't want him on the Raptors, right?
No, I was going to say that. Like fan bases are starting to become scared that Ben Simmons is going to get traded to their team. Yeah. That's what he started doing. Even though he has a lot of talent and he has a lot of potential still, like the work ethic needs to be there.
What team? Okay, we're just barely getting into the season. What team is in a bad enough situation right now? They are desperate enough that they need Ben Simmons on their team.
Probably
Sacramento, I would definitely say.
No, I was saying in some of my group chats today, send his ass to Sacramento because nothing good is happening in Sacramento.
Oh yeah,
I would send him for a fucking second round pick. I don't even care. Just make sure that he ends up in Sacramento where he can just lay there and just lose.
Buddy Hield, you could probably get Buddy Hield out of that deal.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley is
Marvin Bagley is another one. That would be another one. That'd be good. Yeah, probably Portland would be another one. I feel like they're, desperate to finally get through that barrier to the NBA finals. They went to the Western Conference finals a couple years ago when it was Steph versus Seth.
Even so though, like with Portland being like they make it to the playoffs over and over again and they don't have that guy to get over the hump. Do you think that Ben Simmons is that guy that's all of a sudden going to get them over the hump? You know what I mean? True. Like he's struggled in the playoffs. That's his worst area. So I don't know if that's what I'd want to add for them either.
Yeah. I want to say before, sorry, Jake. I want to say before we move on, like I do still see potential in Ben Simmons. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think in like 5 years from now, if he's even playing in the NBA, like I think he could be a legitimate MVP candidate. Maybe I'll get that clown emoji in my face 5 years from now, but I still think that he could still improve an NBA team. He's just got to show it first.
I think it's intangible stuff. I think he just needs to grow up. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, fair. It's just I know I don't want to keep this segment going on, but it's just so ridiculous because how hard this all stemmed. Obviously, there was some divide between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons already. Like we've known about this for a couple of years now. Yeah. It never got to this level until Ben Simmons couldn't hit a fucking shot in the playoffs. That's when it started getting to this level, and then it was just after that series. I never want to play in Philadelphia again. How about you be a fucking adult? You realize that, hey, this is on me. I should get better in this area. Like if Giannis Antetokounmpo, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn when he came into the NBA, could get a jump shot. Giannis is hitting threes right now. That's crazy. We never thought by the way, the NBA is done with Giannis with a 3-point shot.
He actually just bricked one a couple minutes ago. And I was going to say, the NBA is back when Giannis is bricking threes.
But. Oh yeah. No. He's still going to brick them, but he's going to hit more than he's going to hit.
He's still going to take them is the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's still going to go for those shots.
True. If Giannis can have, he's probably going to have, I would say he'll have above 30% 3-point this year. Maybe like 30, 31. Probably. Yeah. If Giannis can do that, you can get a jump shot. So I don't know why you just didn't get it in the gym this offseason. Shut your face and learn how to shoot a ball. Like, I don't know where the divide is with that and just like blaming this all on everybody else in Philadelphia instead of taking responsibility for yourself and being like, maybe they wouldn't be booing me. Maybe my teammates wouldn't hate me if I could actually step up to the plate in these situations and make the plays I'm supposed to make as the first overall pick and also an all-star in the NBA. That's all I got to say. That's the last thing I'm saying on Ben Simmons.
Yeah. As we move on, I think the biggest takeaway from that is Just shut your fucking mouth, Ben Simmons.
Thank you.
And we're going to move on to a little more NBA here as we go through the top 10 in the NBA power rankings right now. And I want to see what you guys think, whether they should be higher, whether they should be lower, or if you think they are just right. I put it on the outline if you guys want to take a look at that. And I'll go ahead and list them here, starting from 10, going up to 1. At 10, we've got the Mavericks. At 9, we've got the Sixers. 8, Hawks. 7, Nuggets. 6, Heat. 5, Jazz. 4, Suns. 3, Lakers. 2, Bucks. And the Nets are at number 1. So is there anything right off the bat that sticks out to you guys here that like you think they should go up, they should go down, or that's right where they should be?
I think the Nets can't be number 1. I know, and I think the biggest reason why obviously is because Kyrie Irving is not there. Let's give the fucking Bucks some respect, please. Like, it makes no sense to me. They're coming off of a championship, like, and everybody's talking about the Nets still. Everybody, it makes no sense. Giannis is the best player in the world. I know a lot of people are going to say KD. I know a lot of people are going to say LeBron James, and some are going to say Steph Curry. No, I think it's Giannis right now. What he did in that NBA Finals, like, dude, to finish off the series with a 50-point bomb, like that's unheard of. He had one of the greatest Finals performances ever. Chris Middleton is a great number 2 to have, and defensively they're just ridiculous. Drew Holiday, they just signed Grayson Allen to a 2-year extension. They have great bench. Like this team brings it, and I don't know why the Nets are ahead of them, especially since they're not going to have Kyrie Irving. It's looking like unless he gets vaccinated, that's a story for another day. I think the Nets need to be below the Bucks. Another team I think needs to be a little bit higher. And this sort of goes against what I said in some previous episodes. I think the Nuggets need to be higher. I think they need to be higher than the Jazz. They have the MVP. They're getting back Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. is, an all-star caliber talent at this point, I think. They have other guys, Will Barton. Like, they have some great pieces on this team. And I think they need a little bit more respect. I feel like the Heat are a little bit high. And for a team I'd like to see on here, obviously I like to see the Raptors on here, but give me the Bulls. I'd like to see the Bulls on this list. Maybe over the Hawks. I think the Hawks might have had a 1-season wonder sort of deal last year.
Yeah, Luke pretty much took everything I was going to say. Yeah, I would definitely have the Nuggets over the Jazz. They just seem like a more complete team to me. I think the Jazz are better defensively, but the Nuggets just have 100%. So much offensive firepower that it's insane if they all stay healthy. The Hawks were definitely a team that jumped out to me as a little high, in my opinion. And this isn't just my Knicks bias. It's a little bit my Knicks bias, but it's also just because, they didn't have the greatest. Yeah, they didn't have the greatest regular season last year. The Knicks finished ahead of them. The Knicks actually swept them, I believe, in the regular season or just beat them in the regular season series. I know we definitely had more wins over them. So I'm not saying the Knicks should be in the top 10, but I think the Hawks just haven't proven they could do this consistently. They're more just a team that got hot at the right time last year. They definitely have the talent. Like, I'm not saying they don't have the talent. I mean, they have talent littered on that roster, but they're still very, very young. And I don't know if they could do this consistently or if that was just a really talented young roster getting hot at the right time. So I think the Hawks are a little high. Nuggets absolutely need to be above the Jazz. And I agree. The Bucks are going to win this game. All right. It's 115-101 with 3 minutes left. Yeah. And the Bucks are moving into blowout territory at this point. So the Bucks are the best team in the NBA, in my opinion, right now. Yep. Like, I don't even think it's close. I think the Lakers just strikes me as a failed experiment. I don't know why. I don't know how, but every addition they've made this year, I don't know how. I don't know. I love each individual player, but I don't know how they're going to play together.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Russell Westbrook and LeBron, like, those two are so ball dominant. They're going to be on the same team. I don't know how I feel about that. And then you got Melo, you got Anthony Davis. Like this, it just seems like littering a team with talent and not caring about how they mesh together because they're all friends. Well, just because you're friends does not mean you're going to play well together on the basketball court. Yeah, so I definitely want to see that with the Lakers. I understand why they're that high, but I want to see it. And yeah, I guess I'm okay with the Heat being there. I don't know, maybe the Mavs. Yeah, but I guess the Mavs don't have anybody but Luka. The fact that Luka's the only reason the Mavs are in the top 10 just tells you how good he is.
True.
Just tells you how good he is. You take Luka off that team is a bottom 10 team in the NBA. That team is like very low tier of the NBA. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, the Mavericks are going to be my team that I think is just right. And it's because of exactly that. They have Luka, but that's like all they have. I mean, they might have some other pieces step up or something like that. But until I see it, I can't put them any higher. What you guys said about the Bucks, I completely agree with. They lost PJ Tucker, but I don't think that's going to be a big enough deal for them to move down, especially in how they're playing this first game against the Nets already. The Nets lose Kyrie Irving, who's obviously a much bigger hit than PJ Tucker is. Yep. As far as the Lakers go, I completely agree with that. We've talked about it several times. I've given my opinion on it. I don't know how this team is going to play together whatsoever. It's like they already had oil, and instead of adding fire, they added some water to it, and it's just separating. I don't see any other outcome for that. But with the LeBron-led team, it's hard to just say, oh, well, let's drop them. It's crazy far, but right now I don't think I would have them at 3 by any means. I think I like them probably under the Nuggets at this point. I think I'd put them like over the Hawks, but not quite above the Nuggets yet. As far as the Hawks go, I like them at 8. I think I like them for the reason that you don't like them, Jake, because they do have a very young team. And I think that a lot of those guys can still build on the things that they already have going for them. They signed a few guys to some bigger contracts and stuff like that, to some extensions. And I think that they have a lot more to play for this season after they had a great run at the end of the last season. And I think that their regular season this year is going to look a lot better. Anything other than that? I mean, the Nuggets, I kind of like where they are too, because Jamal Murray, I still think isn't going to be back for a little while because he tore his ACL, right? So I think with the shortened season,
I'll look up the injury report right now.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But with the shortened season last year and then them jumping right back into this season, I still think he's going to miss some time this season as well. I don't think he'll be back just yet. But my most improved player was Michael Porter Jr., so I do think he's going to step up into that role and be a great scorer for them. I like the Nuggets where they are, but I like the Heat above them solely based on their potential. Obviously, they kind of had a stinker in the playoffs, but the Heat played really well throughout the regular season, and I think they just built on that as far as free agency goes.
What do you guys think of the Warriors not being up here? I mean, I know Klay Thompson is still sort of a question mark. He's sort of in the same territory as Jamal Murray, where we don't really know when he's going to come back, but and they're coming off similar injuries too. What do you guys think about them not being in the top 10?
I get it. I get why they're not up there. You know, they haven't really proven anything yet. We don't know if Klay is going to, we don't know how Klay, I'm sure Klay is going to be fine. Like Klay is going to come in. He's going to do Klay things. He's going to be the same Klay Thompson we all know and love. But I understand it. This is not the same team that they were when they had Kevin Durant. Andrew Wiggins is still on this team, whether they keep him or whether they ship him off for another piece. We don't know. Draymond Green is getting up there. There are a lot of question marks on the Warriors right now. So I understand not putting them in the top 10. They're absolutely like right outside the top 10. Like they're top 13 to me. Absolutely. But I get it. But I would also understand it if the Warriors just came out and started tearing up the league. That would not surprise me either.
I don't know, man. How do you not have a team in the top 10 that's getting Klay Thompson back and added the cum bucket? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Addition of the offseason right there.
Exactly. But no, I agree with everything that Jake just said, which we have to stop agreeing so much. That's what we have the picks for, I guess.
I know.
The NFL picks.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what you're saying. I think that there's just far too many question marks right now, plus where they ended last season, to be like, okay, let me just catapult them into the top 10 already. I don't think they're quite there, but like you said, I do think that they could easily come out and surprise a lot of people and be a top 10 team without a doubt.
I think a couple episodes ago, I vouched for Luka Doncic over Steph Curry as being a better player, but like, I feel like the Warriors are a little bit more of a well-rounded team than the Mavericks right now. And although Luka, I think, is a better player, I think Luka's top 5 player in the league. I'd argue them at 10, maybe. I know I just argued for the Bulls too, but as for the Jamal Murray injury, there's no timetable, but he tore it in April. That's 6 months ago. Usually ACL injuries take 6 to 9 months. So I expect him back around maybe January, end of December, January.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So not too bad for Jamal Murray then.
Yeah, he could be back soon. He won't miss too much.
He'll be back by the All-Star break.
I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him out until after the All-Star break. I wouldn't be surprised if they just to be super safe with him, unless he's like definitely ahead of schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I guess it depends on how well the Nuggets are performing then. So.
Yeah, that too. There's a lot of factors.
Yeah. All right, to you, crew. That's going to wrap it up for episode 27 of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us. We always have a blast recording this, and that's going to be all from us. You guys have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Just be sure to follow us on our socials, guys. At Jake Maltese 3 for me, at Extra Points for Gage, and at Football Fan Zone for Luke. And be sure to follow our, Totally Unqualified social media accounts also. So we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're everywhere you could imagine us being. We're there. So just make sure to follow us on that. We're posting content there pretty much every single week, maybe even every single day. Yeah.
And go download the Overtime app. Y'all thought I wasn't going to mention it. Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. He still owns the Bears, fans. He lives rent-free in your fucking minds. Imagine that. Imagine being the owner of 2 NFL franchises, the Bears and the Dallas Cowboys, while still being an active NFL player. Imagine that. Don't tell me, oh, it's disrespectful. Oh, it's taunting. I don't want to hear it. How about you score more than 14 points, Bears? Come on, give it to me. And thank you guys for listening. Make sure to go follow us on everything, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.